Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome back to The Sims 4. First of all, another apartment build. Okay, I have been playing around with doing a full-on house. As if you don't know, I'm very new to The Sims. We play a lot of creative games here on the channel, but The Sims 4 is one that for a good while has been under the radar, but I've started to get into it now. Full house builds though, my god, roofing and all that, it's a big jump up, so I'm doing another apartment, but this time to sort of be a little bit of an opposite of the bohemian chic one that we did last time for young Jenny Frey. This time we're building a bit of a bachelor pad for a couple of dude bros called Chad and Jacob. Okay, so a lot of big shift in the design this time. Same building though, next to each other. So hopefully, you know, if you go into like a let's play, eventually these would work well together. Regarding that, I don't think we're going to be doing let's plays on Geekism here. I just think a let's play of The Sims is a bit too different to the stuff that we used to doing here, which is sort of creative building, but I am keeping my options open. If people really seem to enjoy the idea of Sims, you know, maybe it can branch off into a new channel, or maybe we'll do some stuff on Twitch. I'm not sure yet, to be honest with you. The idea behind this building is that it's a bit more extravagant than our last one. Okay, so budget is a little bit less of a problem here. The two guys do pretty well in their respective fields. So we've got Chad is going to be an athlete, maybe a football player, I guess that would work, American football player, and then Jacob is, while still a bit of a dude, still like works out and stuff. He's a little bit more in touch with his creative side, is a musician, currently works in accounting but would like to go into music full time, but he's also a little bit more nerdy as well, kind of embraces his nerd culture a bit, so we get some movie posters around the place and stuff as well. So it's all about, I mean, it's really sort of atypical bro kind of place. There's movie posters, there's sports equipment, there's sports on the TV, and they hang out, and you know, that's kind of the build I'm going for. But I wanted it to look a little bit more sort of extravagant this time as well compared to the last one with Jenny. The idea was there that we'd really sort of, she decorated it nicely herself, but the actual build itself hadn't really changed from the base apartment. So you know, it used quite an old kitchen, it used quite an old bathroom and things like that. Whereas here I wanted to kind of, even though they're in the same building, I wanted the idea that even though, you know, they're not doing well enough to have like a penthouse suite or whatever, they can afford to maybe remodel the kitchen, they can afford to remodel the bathroom and things like that. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So we've gone for a slightly nicer kitchen. One thing I found the toughest doing this kind of bachelor pad build was that you can't fill the space so much like you would do with a more sort of family-friendly build or typically female build, I guess. I mean, you know, you've got to be careful with sort of gender stereotypes because obviously everyone's different. But when I think of a couple of like typical, you know, bruh dudes, you know, you don't really have flowers, you don't really have plants, you don't really have ornaments for the sake of them being pretty ornaments, you know. So a lot of that stuff that you would use for filler on surfaces and corners and things, you can't really get away with here, and have it look sort of like for the feel of the two guys that I'm building it for. The sort of stuff you can have are, like I say, sports equipment, movie posters, some you know, movie and game things, so games consoles, like models. There's some like cool model aircraft and things like that that Jacob will have bought in. One thing I find really interesting actually is that the age group that these guys are, you know, I'm sort of putting these like mid-20s, I guess, and to an extent I was looking for a lazy boy here. It doesn't seem like we have one with the packs we have currently, unfortunately, because I would have had a couple of lazy boys as opposed to a sofa. I really wants to make the TV here a big, like probably too big if anything, you know, huge part of the area, you know, really sort of dominates the space, you know, so they can watch the football games and stuff on it. But yeah, so mid-20s guys, and to an extent my generation, I mean, I'm probably towards the higher end of it really, you know, I'm in my mid-30s, but we're the sort of first generation that's kind of really brought our childhood with us into our adulthood and wear it as a badge of honour, you know. And I find it something really interesting, you know. The reason we have like Disney remakes, the reason we have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the reason to an extent that my average viewership is in their 30s for video games, you know, this idea that we've sort of bought our our childhood culture with us. You know, you'd think of nothing seeing people walk around with you know, t-shirt with you know, Superman or Super Ted even. You know, you can go back. That was a kids TV theme in the UK, kids TV show in the UK, by the way. But you know, they wouldn't think anything of it really to have like retro and things like that. Whereas if it would be very strange of me to see a guy in their 60s perhaps wear a t-shirt with Bill and Ben on the, you know, which, again, another kids TV show from the UK if you don't know what I'm talking about. But we are definitely one of the first generations to really embrace our childhood and bring it with us. So that was something I wanted to get across here as well. So like you say, lots of sports, lots of games, lots of models and stuff for Jacob, our second tenant. Whereas Chad, a little bit more sort of straight-laced, a bit more sort of focused on his athleticism. One thing I haven't really done here, because I really struggled for the space, was to have a home gym. But I kind of thought that these kind of buildings often have a gym that they could use, or, you know, he's so into it, he's the sort of person who would quite happily just pay a membership for a gym, you know, sort of like a muscle gym, probably somewhere where you can go and flip tires and pull weights and all that kind of stuff. So although there is a punch bag in the cupboard there that we were just doing, the sort of closet on the way in, that's more of a clutter thing as opposed to, you know, being actual usable, because it's right tucked up into the corner. But if you wanted to, if you played this, you could pull it out and let him use it. Talking of playing this, somebody's let me know that you can actually put these buildings onto the workshop. What you have to do is basically delete a little bit of each wall so that the whole place acts as one room, and then you can upload a room to the workshop saying which place it's going to have to fit into, and then all they have to do is re-put the doors back in. So although it's not ideal, I have done that, so you can now get this one, and you can also get the Bohemian Apartment that we did in the last episode with Jenny Frey. You can get both of those now and have a play around with them and do whatever you want and make them better if you like. Here you see I'm putting some like the airships and rocket lasers and stuff, you know, movie props really, game props, movie posters. We actually move a couple of them around and make this room in the middle a little bit more generic, and keep most of the sort of real nerdy stuff in Jacob's room that unfortunately I don't have footage of for some reason. The footage kind of went. You see, I did place a plant there, and there are a couple of plants. You know, you can't just have no planting in the place just because it's a couple of 20-something guys. But we do definitely keep the planting a lot lighter than we would in say, you know, a family home or like we did in the last episode with Jenny's build. And it was probably the hardest thing I found with this build was to kind of not have the place look empty. But being very aware that sort of clutter for clutter's sake isn't really a thing that would fit this build, you know. I should go at this point because I can see that we've got some colour coming into the build now. I'm going to have to mention this every video, I think, in case people find me for the first time. Yes, I did put tissues by the bed there. Just think of that what you will. Yeah, I'm very colourblind, like really colourblind. I have tritanopia, which pretty much means I see in grayscale. I see in basically shades of pink and shades of red. Pretty much everything I see. Apparently, I'm saying this as somebody who's never not been transanopic, so yeah, so sometimes there may well be a random splash of pink or something come into the build that I just don't know about. So yeah, apologies for that. Also, I have often people recommend Enchroma glasses to me. Unfortunately, they don't work for my type of colourblindness. They work for deuteranopia, I think, which is a red-green deficiency that a lot of people have. Mine is much more rare, and so far they haven't figured out any glasses for it, unfortunately. But I am well aware of Enchroma glasses and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, having the condition, it's something I keep an eye on a lot. So you don't have to keep pointing out to me that they exist. But I appreciate the sentiment. These are awesome. Look at these signed baseball shirts or basketball shirts on there, I suppose, sorry. Put them on the wall. So like I say, keep this one pretty light and just kind of a bit of a sports memorabilia. This room actually is an ensuite. This has an ensuite bathroom. So Chad here would be paying a little bit more of the rent, but you know, as a professional athlete, he could probably afford it. Now, when I say professional athlete, I'm not talking like major NFL star or anything, you know. But I don't really know how the ranks of American football work. But this guy, you know, this isn't a penthouse suite. Do you know what I mean? But he makes a living, earns a living playing football or whatever sport you want him to be. Really, it doesn't really. I think it's just his trait is just athletic. So he can kind of be anything he wants to, really. But like I say, he has enough money to probably own this apartment, or maybe Daddy owns it. But it's definitely an owned one as opposed to a rented one, because they've remodeled the kitchen, they've remodeled the bathroom and stuff like that. So it did mean that we got to use some slightly higher quality materials here with these gorgeous long tiles. They're so nice, those slate tiles. I'm a bit obsessed with like slate and grey bathrooms, and the wife really doesn't like them. She likes everything to be like pristine white in a bathroom. So I know that when we come to remodel a bathroom, we've remodeled this one where we are now, and we did it white because, you know, I wanted it grey, she wanted it white, so we compromised and had it white. But I'd love to, when we finally move to Canada and get to the point where we can remodel a bathroom, I'd love to do one of these like slate bathrooms. I think they're gorgeous. You'll see the second bedroom there. Jacob's bedroom just went in, unfortunately. I don't know what has happened to the footage there, but you can see in the background, you know, it's lots of music. You know, he's an aspiring musician. He currently works in accountancy, but he looks after himself and wants to be an aspiring musician, so he takes care of his appearance. Every now and again, I don't know if you saw it there, every now and again when I'm trying to place something on the wall, it insists on trying to place it really high up, and I can't for the life of me figure out how to get it low. If anyone's got any ideas on what that problem is, please let me know, because it's really infuriating. There we go, fix some lighting for those bathrooms. Kept the bathrooms pretty similar. They most likely would have been done at the same time. Yeah, modelled at the same time, I think. Kept the lighting pretty uniform throughout the build. But yeah, that second bedroom there, Jacob's bedroom, like I said, lots more sort of stuff on the walls, stuff on the shelves, little pop, what are they called? Those pop vinyls, are they called? Their little bobble heads, you know, that kind of thing is the sort of stuff he would have there. This is a complete rip off from a TV show called Suits, which is okay. I wouldn't rave about it, but it's not a bad TV show. But one of the, it's about a lawyer firm, and one of the lawyers in his office has these basketballs and I think some baseballs and stuff as well lined up along one of the shelves, and they've got little plaques saying when, and they're game balls basically, you know, when so and so won the whatever. I don't really do sports, but I just love that aesthetic of these balls just placed, and they're just such silly objects, you know, just sort of plain plastic or rubber, whatever they are, yet they've been placed on this pedestal like they're made of gold or something. I just love that, the fact that we as humans, and maybe more so guys than girls, to be honest with you, kind of put these little objects on such a pedestal. You know, I have you know, well, a lot of it's been packed up now for our move. We're moving to Canada soon, but I have like models of stuff around, and you know, and Nicola always says, God, you treat these like they're the Holy Grail, and they're not. They're just lumps of plastic, you know. But that's, you know, that's how it is. Finishing off a few little touches then, like I say, I did this build in between looking after our son, who's not well at the moment. He's only just got a bad cold, but he's not napping very well on his own at the moment. There's lots of cuddles and stuff. So this build was actually built over a couple of days, really, getting sort of like 20 minutes, half an hour here and there. So it's a little bit all over the place. So speakers on the TV there, I'd love some like long speakers that could go next to a TV, you know, like real sort of home cinema speakers. Again, if you don't know, I'm very new to The Sims. This is only my second ever build in The Sims, and I've just got a couple of packs. I got the City Living pack and the new one, the Famous pack, which is why a lot of both builds I've done at the moment are sort of focused around apartments and the idea of being a little bit famous. I am going to be picking up more packs and doing some more sort of starter homes and all that kind of stuff eventually as well. But yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with roofing, so came back to apartments to get a video out. Here we go. We're building the two guys. This is a thing that I'm going to do in my videos as much as I can, at least. That I'm not going to be doing Let's Plays, but I want each build to have a household that goes with it, and because it really helps me do the build of the property to have an idea of the people that are going to be living in that property, at least to begin with. So here is Chad. I think we call him Chad Johnson or something, like American name 101. And we keep him in something that shows off his muscles a bit, you know. The guy's quite proud of how he looks and stuff. I think you don't see it on here, but actually tan him a little as well. And then the second guy is Jacob Wright. Again, still a bit of a dude, you know, works out, looks after himself, but a bit more focused on the arts, and a little bit more sort of techie and a little bit more cultured. Been friends since high school. May not necessarily have been friends today if they met, but you know, they're still really close from going through college and everything. So watching some sports, working out, playing some games, you know, that kind of thing. Thanks very much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, links in the description for the downloads. And if you enjoyed it, you can give us a like. It really does help out the channel. If you're not already, don't forget to subscribe. Any thoughts, queries, suggestions, you can pop them down in the comments. And all that sort of good stuff. If you want to join in with the Geekism community, you can do so over on our Geekism Discord server. You'll find the link for that in the description. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons. You see all their lovely names there. They make these videos possible through their generous pledges at patreon.com/geekism. And don't forget to check out our affiliate links, get yourself some cheap games and other goodies, and you help the channel out while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.